Did you know that over 3 million people in the UK are now living in areas at high risk of becoming unlivable within the next year? From rising sea levels swallowing entire coastlines to choking air pollution and unbearable heat waves, the places we once called home are changing faster than ever before, and not for the better. What's even more shocking? Some of the cities on this list are places you'd never expect. We're not just talking about small seaside towns. These are major UK hubs where people work, study, and raise families. But thanks to climate chaos, collapsing infrastructure, and housing crises, these cities may soon be too dangerous or too expensive to live in at all. So, is your city on the list? Stick with us as we reveal 10 UK cities experts say could become unlivable by 2025, and the terrifying reasons why. You might be more at risk than you think. Number 10. Hull. Drowning under rising seas. Hull, a city with a proud maritime history, is now facing a threat from the very waters that once made it thrive. Located below sea level, Hull is one of the UK's most vulnerable cities when it comes to rising seas and coastal flooding. In recent years, the city has experienced multiple severe flood events, costing millions in damages and displacing thousands of residents. According to the UK Environment Agency, Hull could be completely underwater by the middle of this century if sea levels continue to rise at their current pace. But here's the frightening part. Experts warn that significant impacts could happen much sooner, possibly within the next year or two if storm surges hit at the wrong time. Why is this happening so fast? Climate change is causing polar ice to melt at an alarming rate, pushing sea levels higher year after year. On top of that, Hull's aging flood defenses are already struggling to cope with even moderate storms. A study from the University of Leeds suggests that by 2025, parts of the city may face regular tidal flooding, making daily life nearly impossible. Think about it. Roads submerged, power cuts, schools shut down, and emergency services stretched thin. What happens when a city becomes too wet to function? For Hull residents, the future could mean moving to higher ground or adapting to life in a flood zone. While the government is investing in new flood barriers, many experts argue it won't be enough. The city's low-lying geography puts it at constant risk. The real question is, how much longer can people stay? If you live in or near Hull, it may be time to start seriously considering your options. Because if current trends continue, Hull may be one of the first major UK cities to face the full force of a climate-changed world. Number 9. London. Trapped in the heat. London, one of the world's most iconic cities, is quickly becoming a pressure cooker of heat and human activity. While it's famous for its gray skies and rainy days, that reputation is changing, and not in a good way. Over the last few years, the capital has seen a dramatic rise in extreme heat events, with temperatures soaring above 40 degrees Celsius for the first time in recorded history. According to the Met Office, London is now experiencing more frequent and longer-lasting heat waves, and the city simply isn't built to handle it. The concrete and glass that define its skyline trap heat, creating what scientists call the urban heat island effect, making central London significantly hotter than surrounding rural areas. The impact of this rising heat is far more serious than just sweaty commutes and stuffy homes. Public Health England has reported a sharp increase in heat-related deaths and hospitalizations, especially among vulnerable groups like the elderly and young children. Tube stations without air conditioning become ovens, apartments turn into saunas, and people are left struggling to sleep at night. Infrastructure is beginning to buckle under the pressure. Rail tracks are warping, roads are melting, and energy demand is spiking as more households install fans and AC units. But ironically, more air conditioning leads to higher energy consumption, which contributes even more to the climate crisis. Unless drastic changes are made, London could soon become unbearable for large parts of the population during the summer months. Green spaces are being lost to development, and too little is being done to cool the city down. If you live in London, consider how heat-resilient your neighborhood really is. Is there enough shade? Are your buildings insulated? Because if these heat waves become the new normal, living in London may turn from a dream into a daily survival challenge. Number 8. Birmingham. Choking on the air. Birmingham, the UK's second-largest city, is facing a silent but deadly crisis, toxic air pollution. With its dense road networks, industrial zones, and high population, the air in Birmingham has reached dangerously unhealthy levels. According to recent data from DEFRA, several areas in the city consistently exceed legal limits for nitrogen dioxide, a harmful gas linked to heart disease, respiratory issues, and even premature death. A 2024 report found that more than 1,000 early deaths per year in Birmingham can be directly linked to air pollution. The invisible nature of this threat makes it especially dangerous. Most people don't even realize they are breathing in air that could shorten their lifespan. The situation is so serious that the city was forced to introduce a clean air zone in 2021, charging older, more polluting vehicles to drive through the city center. While it's a step in the right direction, the air quality improvements have been slow and uneven. Many of the most vulnerable communities, especially in inner-city neighborhoods, are still exposed to dangerously high pollution levels. Children walking to school are inhaling exhaust fumes daily, and asthma cases among young people are on the rise. And let's not forget the psychological toll. Living in a place where stepping outside could harm your health creates constant, low-level stress that wears people down over time. For those living in Birmingham, there are few easy solutions. Moving away from busy roads, using air purifiers indoors, and avoiding outdoor exercise during peak traffic hours can help, but these are only band-aid fixes. The bigger issue is systemic. Without major overhauls to transport infrastructure and a massive shift towards clean energy and public transport, Birmingham risks becoming a city where breathing freely is no longer possible. The air may be invisible, but the danger is very, very real. Number 7. Scarborough, slipping into the sea. Scarborough, a picturesque seaside town loved for its beaches and holiday charm, is now facing a slow but unstoppable disaster: coastal erosion. The very cliffs and coastlines that draw tourists every summer are now crumbling at an alarming rate. According to the UK's Environment Agency, parts of Scarborough's coastline are eroding by up to 2 meters per year, placing homes, roads, and even entire neighborhoods at risk. In 2024, shocking footage of a house collapsing into the sea went viral, highlighting just how real and immediate this threat has become. For residents, the ground beneath their feet is literally disappearing. This isn't just a natural process. It's being accelerated by climate change. Rising sea levels, more frequent storms, and heavier rainfall are putting constant pressure on Scarborough's soft rock cliffs. The town's drainage systems are also struggling to cope with increased runoff, weakening the cliffs from within. Once erosion starts in an area, it's incredibly difficult and expensive to stop. Despite some emergency interventions, local authorities admit that they can't protect every home. In some cases, people have been told to evacuate and abandon their properties altogether, often with little or no compensation. Imagine being told that your home of 20 years is now unsafe and will soon be part of the ocean. For those still living in Scarborough or thinking of moving there, it's essential to check the local shoreline management plan and stay informed about erosion risks. Look out for warning signs like cracked walls, leaning fences, or unusual drainage patterns. While sea defenses and cliff stabilization efforts are underway, experts agree that Scarborough may have to retreat from certain areas entirely. It's a hard truth. Some parts of this beloved coastal town may vanish within our lifetime. The question is, how much can be saved before it's too late? Number 6. Brighton, crushed by the cost of living. Brighton, once known as a vibrant, bohemian escape by the sea, is now facing a crisis that has nothing to do with climate, but everything to do with the cost of living. Over the past few years, this sunny, colorful city has become one of the most unaffordable places to live in the UK outside of London. Rent prices have soared to an average of over £1,400 per month, far outpacing local wages. Many long-time residents are being priced out of their own neighborhoods, forced to move further inland just to survive. For young people and families, Brighton is rapidly becoming a city they simply can't afford to stay in. The problem isn't just housing, it's everything. Groceries, public transport, childcare, and energy bills are all rising sharply, making daily life a financial tightrope. Brighton's popularity as a tourist hotspot and second-home destination has made competition for housing fierce, while new developments often cater to wealthier buyers and investors. A 2025 housing report ranked Brighton among the worst UK cities for rental affordability, with some residents spending more than 50% of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. The result? A growing homeless population, crowded flat shares, and a disappearing middle class. If you're thinking of moving to Brighton, or struggling to stay there, the reality is harsh. Unless you earn well above the national average or have outside financial support, life here is becoming increasingly unsustainable. While the city still offers a beautiful lifestyle, vibrant culture, and stunning views, those perks are no longer enough to balance out the economic pressure. Without urgent action to cap rents, increase affordable housing, and support local workers, Brighton could soon become a city only the wealthy can call home. And that would change its identity forever. Before we dive into the top 5, we'd love to hear from you. Is your city already showing signs of becoming unlivable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insights matter more than you think. And if you appreciate the effort we put into researching and creating these videos, please hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it helps us keep going. Number 5. Glasgow, breaking down from the inside. Glasgow, Scotland's largest city, is known for its rich industrial history, cultural landmarks, and resilient spirit. But beneath its proud exterior, the city is struggling with a crisis that's growing harder to ignore: crumbling infrastructure and failing public services. From collapsing roads to aging water pipes and frequent public transport issues, Glasgow is facing a slow internal breakdown. Residents are reporting longer commute times, unreliable train services, and delayed repairs across the board. In some areas, potholes and broken pavements have become so common that they are just accepted as part of daily life. A recent local survey found that over 60% of Glaswegians believe the city's infrastructure has significantly worsened over the past 5 years. The problem runs deeper than just wear and tear. Years of underinvestment, budget cuts, and growing urban demand have stretched Glasgow's systems beyond capacity. The subway, the third oldest in the world, is frequently out of service for maintenance. Water mains are bursting more often, causing property damage and disruptions. Even broadband speeds in some neighborhoods lag behind national standards, cutting off residents from digital opportunities. These aren't just inconveniences. They are signs of a city that's failing to keep up with its population's needs. And as climate events like storms and freezing winters increase in severity, old infrastructure is being pushed to breaking point. For those living in or moving to Glasgow, this decline means more than just frustration. It affects health, safety, and quality of life. When a city's internal systems stop working, everything else, from education to employment, begins to suffer. While there are plans for regeneration and new investment, many argue that progress is too slow to match the pace of decline. If nothing changes, Glasgow risks becoming a city where the basics, clean water, safe roads, reliable transport, are no longer guaranteed. Number 4. Leeds, too cold to survive the winter. Leeds, a fast-growing city with a booming student population and thriving business sector, is now grappling with a crisis that strikes at the heart of daily life: energy insecurity. As energy prices continue to skyrocket across the UK, thousands of Leeds residents are finding it nearly impossible to heat their homes during winter. According to a 2024 government report, 1 in 5 households in Leeds now lives in fuel poverty, meaning they can't afford to maintain basic warmth. For many, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's life-threatening, especially for the elderly, young children, and those with health conditions. What makes the problem worse is that many homes in Leeds, especially in older areas, are poorly insulated and rely on outdated heating systems. Even with the heating turned on, warmth escapes quickly through thin walls and single-glazed windows. During the harsh winter of 2024, hospitals in Leeds reported a spike in cold-related illnesses, from respiratory infections to hypothermia. People were found using ovens for heat or crowding into public spaces just to stay warm. And while there are government support schemes, they often don't reach everyone in time or cover enough of the rising costs. For those on fixed incomes or struggling with rising rent, the winter months now bring genuine fear. If you live in Leeds or are considering moving there, it's critical to assess how energy efficient your home or flat really is. Look for properties with modern insulation, double glazing, and efficient boilers. Pay close attention to energy ratings before signing a lease, and explore available grants or local support programs. Some councils offer free insulation or heating upgrades. Because without serious intervention and infrastructure upgrades, large parts of Leeds may soon become too cold and too costly for many to endure through another brutal winter. Number 3. Oxford, running out of water. Oxford, a city celebrated for its academic prestige and historic beauty, is now facing a crisis that most people never imagined possible in the UK: severe water stress. According to the Environment Agency and Thames Water, Oxfordshire is one of the regions most at risk of running out of water within the next few years. Population growth, over-extraction from local rivers, and increasingly dry summers driven by climate change are putting enormous pressure on water supplies. By 2025, Oxford could face frequent hosepipe bans, supply restrictions, and even rationing in some areas if urgent action isn't taken. The signs are already here. Rivers like the Cherwell and the Thames are running at lower levels than ever before during summer months, and groundwater supplies are rapidly depleting. In 2024, residents experienced the driest summer in over 50 years, with parched lawns, dry public parks, and struggling local agriculture. And while many imagine water shortages as a distant, foreign issue, Oxford is proof that even rainy Britain isn't immune. The city's infrastructure was never designed to handle the kind of sustained droughts we're now beginning to experience. Leaks in aging pipes waste millions of liters a day, while demand continues to grow due to new housing developments and student population increases. If you're living in or around Oxford, now is the time to take water conservation seriously. Installing low-flow taps, checking for leaks, and reducing non-essential water use can make a difference. More importantly, stay informed about local water stress warnings and restrictions. Without dramatic changes in consumption and investment in new water infrastructure, Oxford may soon become one of the first UK cities where everyday access to clean, running water is no longer guaranteed. And that could change life in this historic city in ways no one expected. Number 2. Manchester, divided and displaced. Manchester, often celebrated for its music scene, innovation, and northern grit, is now battling a growing issue that threatens the very fabric of its community: rising social inequality. Once seen as a symbol of post-industrial regeneration, parts of Manchester are now slipping into deepening poverty and division. Recent data shows that over 40% of children in Manchester are living in poverty, making it one of the worst-hit cities in the UK. While luxury flats and trendy developments pop up in the city centre, entire neighborhoods just a few miles away are being left behind, with limited access to quality housing, education, and healthcare. The gap between rich and poor in Manchester is widening at an alarming rate. Gentrification is pushing long-term residents out of their communities, replacing affordable housing with high-end rentals and short-term lets. In places like Ancoats and the Northern Quarter, rents have doubled in under a decade, forcing many families to relocate to the outskirts or beyond. Meanwhile, homelessness has surged, with visible encampments and rough sleepers becoming a regular sight. The city's services are stretched thin, trying to balance growth with support for those falling through the cracks. For many, Manchester is becoming a tale of two cities, one of opportunity and one of struggle. If you live in Manchester or are considering moving there, it's important to understand the social landscape. What seems like a vibrant, booming city on the surface may also bring challenges of housing insecurity, rising costs, and community displacement. Supporting local initiatives, staying informed, and choosing to live in areas that balance development with social equity can help push back against the divide. But if current trends continue unchecked, Manchester may soon become a place where only a select few can thrive, while the rest are left behind. Number 1. Cardiff, flooded and forgotten. Cardiff, the vibrant capital of Wales, is facing a growing threat that could soon turn parts of the city into a disaster zone: flash flooding from extreme rainfall. While it might not have the same sea level concerns as coastal towns, Cardiff is increasingly vulnerable to intense downpours that overwhelm its aging drainage systems. In both 2023 and 2024, the city experienced record-breaking rainfall, with entire neighborhoods submerged in just hours. Roads turned into rivers, cars floated down high streets, and residents were left with flooded homes and no warning. According to Natural Resources Wales, Cardiff is now ranked among the top UK cities at risk of surface water flooding, and the situation is only getting worse. This flooding isn't just occasional, it's becoming a pattern. The city's rapid development has replaced green spaces with concrete, making it harder for rainwater to naturally drain away. As the climate warms, heavier and more sudden storms are becoming the norm, not the exception. Yet despite the growing frequency of these events, infrastructure upgrades have lagged behind. Many drains, culverts, and flood channels are decades old and no longer capable of handling modern weather extremes. What's more alarming is that emergency response services have admitted they're struggling to keep up, with delays in reaching stranded families and businesses suffering heavy financial losses. If you're living in Cardiff, especially in low-lying areas like parts of Grangetown, Splot, or Cathays, it's crucial to understand your flood risk. Sign up for flood alerts, elevate valuables, and consider flood-proofing your home. The government has outlined long-term flood defense plans, but experts warn that without immediate action, entire sections of Cardiff could become unlivable during the wettest months of the year. The danger isn't in the distant future, it's already here. And for many in Cardiff, the next storm could be the one that changes everything. The idea that some of the UK's most beloved cities could become unlivable within just a year might sound extreme. But as we've seen, the signs are already here. From rising seas to toxic air, unaffordable housing to collapsing infrastructure, the challenges are not just coming. They've already arrived. This isn't about creating panic. It's about facing reality and preparing for a future that's changing faster than many of us expected. Whether it's Hull underwater, Brighton priced out, or Cardiff drowning in rain, the warning signs are flashing red. But here's the truth. Awareness is power. By understanding what's happening, we can make smarter choices about where and how we live. We can demand better planning, stronger policies, and faster action from our leaders. We can start conversations in our communities, check our own homes for risks, and protect the places we care about most. Because if we wait until it's too late, the damage won't just be physical, it will change lives forever. So, as we wrap up, ask yourself this: is your city on the edge? And more importantly, what can you do about it before time runs out? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment and tell us what changes you're seeing in your own city. We read everyone, but if you found this video eye-opening, please consider supporting us. We put hours of research, writing, and editing into every episode to bring you the facts that matter. So hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.